All right. You can all hear and see me? Okay, let me check. One moment, guys. All right, you can hear and see me clearly. Okay, that's good. That's what I want. It's about to storm soon. We have rainfall. I'm happy with that. Heat wave is over. Thank you, Jesus. Okay, it's me, Ari Dosset, Commerce Sheet. I'm your anthropologist and sociologist. If you're Italian, please call me Liano. Thank you very much. If that's the case, donate links below. Hit the like button, share this live stream, and above all, pay close attention. And take note of this lesson and practice it in your life where it applies. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to read some scripture with you. Or, you know what? Let me just start with a parable, okay? So, you have a guy called Jack. It's Jack, okay? You can see it well, okay? You have Jack. Jack went this car to the Rocky Mountains in Canada. He wanted to hike on a trail. And when he arrived at the trail, his car broke down at the road. So he canceled his walking on the trail. He went to a car dealership to sell his damaged car. All right. The car dealers, and he told the car dealership, sir, this is my car. I just purchased last year. I didn't drive it a lot. I only had like 15 rides with the car. My only long ride was to Canada. It encountered some issues, but it's ready to go. The car dealership had employees to check the car and told them, sir, we cannot purchase a car from you. And Jack asked why. Well, sir, your car is completely damaged, y'all. There's no way we can purchase this car and fix it and resell it. I mean, it's like you hit. What happened to the car? Did you drive off a cliff, whatever? Because this is completely complete wreck, y'all. And Jack told them, no, I mean, it's a good car. And told them, sir, you're either trying to act like you're trying to insult our intelligence, or you really have mental health issues, sir. This car, I mean, look at this. The front is completely smashed. The back is torn in two. The doors, this car has to be demolished. There's no such thing as a car in such a state being called a good car. You can't work with it, you can't do anything with it. And of course, the car dealership is right in this case. All right, so let's go to another parable now. I don't have to draw it. You have a guy called Robert. Robert, he grew up in a household where his parents and also people in the neighborhood were unpredictable. People had bad temperature. And one day, because Robert is married right now, one day there was an argument with his wife and he totally lost it. He smacked her against the wall, y'all. She had to go to the hospital. When the police came to office going on, the police could see Robert was completely shocked at what happened. So the police decided, sir, you have to go see a psychiatrist because you have no criminal record, there was never an incident with you, and suddenly you almost killed your wife by smashing against the wall like that. The wife was recovering in the hospital. Thank God she was not in a critical condition. But then the judge agreed with the police. You have to go see a psychiatrist because this is you actually lost your mind out of the blue. The psychiatrist talks with Robert and talk about his childhood. At first, Robert thought, "Why the heck do I know my childhood? Leave me alone, But eventually, because the court already worked with him, and then he began to recall some incidents when children in the neighborhood beat him up, and his father agreed with them, called him a little shit and all of that. The psychiatrist almost froze like, what the heck am I hearing? And Robert said, well, after that, I learned to watch my mouth better and not to be like a little bitch and just, only speak when I'm asked to, keep my opinion to myself and all of that. And the psychiatrist told him, sir, are you even hearing what you're saying? There were children in neighborhoods. All the children had issues that are taken out on you. So the children had to need help, and the parents had to be dealt with. Why the children being found was not a child. And your father, instead of give you comfort and check on you, he lashed out on you. Agreeing with those that harmed you, and you were just a child. What grown man does shit like this? Now, the psychiatrist, it's not an individual tends to cuss, but psychiatrist thought cuss nor swear. But psychiatrist thought, I don't give a damn of you, man. And suddenly it clicks to Robert that he was lying to himself. Robert always said, well, my parents gave me physical punishment, but hey, I turned out well because I'm not a thief, I'm not robbing, I'm not in the streets, I pay my taxes on time. Everyone talks well about me. So Robert now always kept saying that, well, I ended up well. But now Robert had to admit he did not end well at all. And that incident with his wife, when he suddenly lost his mind, went to a blackout and attacked his wife, he almost killed his wife, yo. If the hit against the wall was a bit harder, his wife either could have been paralyzed for life or she could have been dead. And Robert even explained that during the argument, he felt terrified for his life. And psychiatrist told him, Robert, how can you feel terrified for your life? Your wife is shorter than you. You have bigger, heavier muscles than her. What threat could she have been to you? Now, Robert admitted something that's totally wrong with him. And based on that encounter, Robert came to realize more and more how damaged he really was, how much in denial he was about himself and the people around him. As a grown man, he had no choice but to take responsibility and accountability for how he was. Even though it was not his fault for being damaged like that, it was the people that raised him and environment that allowed it to happen. He still, as a grown man, had to deal with it so the damage wouldn't further destroy him nor harm other people around him. Don't put it around the lights, y'all. Or So this Robert eventually realized, you know what, I'm not well at all. Okay. Why in the world now you have smoking areas and non-smoking areas? In the past, you go to any restaurant and just lit a cigarette over there, smoke. Even in public buildings. But now, many places have a no smoking policy. Why? Because if you smoke, you harm your own lungs. But the people over there who are not smoking, they inhale the smoke in and out too. Now, it doesn't harm them directly at the first encounter, but over time, if they're exposed to smoke, it's going to affect them too. What if you have children who grew up in houses where parents smoke all the time? Can you say it all turned out well? No. They have some bodily damage you're not even aware of. Okay. Why this parable? Because this Robert always claims there's a thing called good fear. And he thought that, well, you have bad fear, good fear. And if you use good fear on children, they'll be better, become better people. That's the lie he heard and kept telling himself. Until there was an almost fatal incident they had with his wife, and it made that, okay, I'm not going. Is there such a thing as a good bodily injury? Your body is a system that needs to work well. It needs to be balanced in your body. If someone is stabbed or shot, there's nerve damage and there's blood leaking out, organ damage. That body is not in good state. Imagine going to the hospital and someone just been stabbed. And instead of treating the stab wound, say, well, this is a good stab wound. Good stab wounds. Or let's say someone has an infectious disease that's destroying their organs. Let's say some of these infections are considered good infections because for some reason others are bad ones. Well, they're all infections on the body, so what can be good about it? Nobody's going to take that, right? No. There's no such thing as a good bodily injury. Whether it's a little cut in your finger, or you've been shot with a bullet, or you fell and broke some bones, or God forbid, a missile hit your building and you lost a limb because of you were under the rubble. There's no such thing as a good bodily injury. Don't even mention a thing like this, a good bodily injury, in medical school, because you'll be kicked out in danger. Don't mention this if you're in the medical field, because you need to be arrested maybe. It's going to be breaking news. Medical doctor claims there are good bodily injuries. Imagine a medical doctor will say shit like that. It will be all over the news show. Giant scandal. Because there's no such thing as a good bodily injury. Duh, of course not. Okay. Your body is the only body you have. You can't change your body like you change your clothes. You can't do that. And our bodies are mortal. So our bodies don't instantly regenerate. They don't. So if you lose a limb for life, you are incomplete with your body. If you have a huge injury, it can recover, but it's maybe some scars that or some after effects you have to deal with. Our bodies are not immortal. Okay, our bodies are fragile, mortal, and needs a lot of care. So anything that harms the integrity of your body is a no-go. It's off limits. Because there's no such thing as a good bodily injury. Now, ask yourself, if there's no such thing as a good bodily injury, how can there be a good reason to physically injure another human being? I'm not talking about if someone intends to shoot you, stab you, or try to kidnap you, and the only thing you do is give them a knockout or push them out of you to get out. That would be classified as, according to the court of law, self-defense. You don't intend to cause bodily harm, you just use force to get someone out of you while they intended to harm you. But for you to stay in the situation and keep beating them up or going too far now, that's not self-defense. But even then, causing bodily harm is a no-go. Because our bodies ought to be held for us to function in the earth, correct? What if someone told you that they have the right to bodily harm you if they don't feel good? What if someone will tell you that if they don't feel good and they have leverage over you, they have a right to use you as an option to take out their frustrations? What if someone told you they have a right to bodily harm you if they feel like it, based on the fact they have leverage over you, as financial leverage, or the fact you're under quote-unquote authority? What if someone tell you something like that? What if someone would proclaim something like that? Instantly, your alarm go off. What did you say? If someone says something like this publicly, man, it won't take long for the arrest, because people say, what the heck is this? You have a right to harm people based on how you feel. But let me tell you, that is exactly the agreement you have to agree with if you want to participate in a thing called society. You have community, human beings living together, or human beings sharing common values at a distance. That's community. Then you have society. Society is an escape mechanism that adults adhere to. Society is what the Bible calls the world, by the way. And we're told in the New Testament, don't be conformed to the pattern of this world. Well, to be part of the world, you have to align with the philosophy that the population you belong to has the right to abandon you or physically cause harm to you based on their collective sentiments. Or short, if significant amount of people feel bad, it's not going to be well for the functioning of the group. So if you're part of the group and it's in their advantage to use you as an outlet for them to relieve themselves, they have a right to victimize you. And if nothing to say about it, you have to take it because they are quote unquote sovereign over you. That idea is what is one of the conditions to be part of the world. In modern day countries, this right to victimize is reserved for the state, the government. They call it the monopoly on violence. Before the 19th century, there were competing movements. You had the government that claimed the right to victimize. They also had some religious groups that claimed the right. You had families and self-competing for the right to victimize from their own members. Anyway, this will go on throughout human history. It's part of the world that you have to agree that you don't matter, you're nothing important, only the group gives you value, and you're only allowed to even exist if the group feels like it. It sounds quite dark, isn't it? Well, let's read something from scripture right now. Hold on. Hold on. Let me find it for you. Just one moment, y'all. We go to 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7, and reads, "For God hath not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." Sound mind still means you're mentally well. Okay? So there is no mental wellness in fear. There is none. There's no power, ability to get results in fear. There's no love. There's no healthy affection or goodwill in fear. It says the spirit of fear. So fear is something spiritual. It's not a biological thing like many people claim. That's a biological effect on you, but it's not biological, it's spiritual. God had not given us a spirit of fear. Let's read another thing over here. Let's go to Romans chapter 1, verse 28. Here it talks about how people decline and become evil. It says, "And even as they did not like to thank God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind to do these things which are not convenient." Fear triggers your body to shut down. It puts you in a state of anxiety for you to either run for your life or fight back, or sometimes you freeze. Your body is not built to be in this state. Long-term exposure to anxiety harms your hormones, harms your internal organs. You age quickly also. And you can't even function well with other people socially. So if fear has no good effect on your mind nor your body. That means nothing good can come from it. So how can it be people claiming that fear is good under some circumstances? If you say that fear is okay under some circumstances, such thing as good fear, that means you also say that there's such thing as good bodily harm. That means you say that it's okay also to abuse, take advantage of people under some circumstances. Then we also say there's good abuse, there's good molestation, there's good cheating, there's good extortion. That means you're also saying that those are not just good murder then. You see how far this goes? There's no such thing as good fear, y'all. It doesn't exist. And the fact there are so many people out there who claim to follow Christ and they keep promoting this idea of good fear, that is disturbing. It's an abomination. Why over and over again you see in the Bible, fear not, fear not, fear not, fear not. Even in many of those other religions out there. Well, the gospel's own religion is a message from the Father, but you get what I'm saying. Keep saying fear not. Why would everyone keep emphasizing fear not? But she, what about the fear of the Lord? Listen, the ancient Hebrews had cultural expressions. For example, someone says in English, you nailed it, man. Are the least talking about you putting a nail into something? No. They actually say, man, you did a good job. Or amongst the Afro-Americans, they'll say, they could say something like, you need to bust your ass, man, at work, man. Or the literally mean that you need to bend over and allow people to violate your rectum? No. It's kind of harsh way to say you need to work quite hard at the job. So every culture has these symbolic, figurative expressions that are not meant to be taken literally. Now, the ancient Hebrews had some obsession with fear, so they use fear a lot in their cultural expressions. The fear of the Lord, which simply means you're so amazed by them, Father, you wouldn't miss out on what God is doing at all. If you prefer chocolate ice cream or vanilla ice cream, people say that you hate vanilla ice cream. Huh? No, you just had a strong preference for chocolate, and that's why you say you hate vanilla ice cream. So the ancient Hebrews had their way of communicating. Okay? And then the New Testament, written in Greek, it says that God has given us a spirit of fear. Even in the Old Testament, it always says, fear not, fear not, fear not. So read beyond the Hebraism of the ancient Hebrews and look at what it said. Oh, look at fear not, fear not, fear not, fear not. Look, if someone believes that there's such a thing as good fear, that means they also believe there's also such thing as good disease, good sickness, and good bodily harm. They also believe in good trauma then. Such people, in short, they believe that violence is justified unless there's some authority prohibiting it. That means such people, they believe it's okay for society to harm and abandon them if people feel like it. They believe that. So if they believe that society, the collective that's escaping out there, has the right to abandon and harm them based on how they feel, what will happen if you ever are under attack? What if society decides to go after you? They're going to side with it. They think it's justified. If someone has a farm and they have the deed to the farm, they have the government backs up the claim, they have the farm. They don't have natural ownership because the earth belongs to the Lord. We were born naked, we will die naked. Everything between are just possessions and associations. Let's say a farmer possesses a farm. It's his property. He possesses the property, but he does not possess human beings that may be near nor on the property. He may want to evict some people from his property, but he doesn't possess those human beings. Let's say you are delivering pizza over there. I arrive there, knock on the door to deliver the pizza. And suddenly, because the farmer thought you were a bit rude, he slaps you in the face. And the lady says, well, it's my property. I pay the bills over here. If he's going to get away with that, to hell no. Police will come and he'll go to jail for assault. Simple as that. Or what if a farmer has children, his own children, and he's abusing them? Now, in the far past, people say, well, it's a private matter, let's look the other way. But today, in many countries, they find out the guy will go to jail, he may even lose that property. Simple as that. Just because he pays financially doesn't mean he's God. Some people don't think that, so I want you to consider this. If people believe in good fear, they also believe in good victimization. Then they also believe that people with leverage have a right to victimize you. I want this to get through to you. If you're dealing with someone like this, are you safe with them? Are you safe with someone who thinks that society has the right to victimize you when they are emotionally stuck? That means those people think they have the right to victimize too if they have the leverage. Are you safe around people like that? No, you're not. Because even they themselves don't turn in violence towards you. They will let violence happen to you. They will side with collective violence against you. They will. Look, if someone believes in good fear, then they believe that evil is good too. And let me tell you, any group of people that call good evil and evil good, eventually they will openly brag about their victimization. They may not openly brag by openly beat people up in public and all that, no. But there will be disturbing trends that will show that these people aren't well. For example, there is this product in China. It's a little doll that's a bit fluffy. It's made, I believe, from plastic. It's a little doll shaped like a tiny human, and you can beat it up, throw it to the ground. It's like a release tool. But the color is dark brown. And then there were commentators saying if you make the color of the doll white or a lighter color, it would look too human. So this became a scandal online. I'm not going to show the footage. You can look for yourself if you want. People were upset. What is this? So you make a doll that looks like a human, that's dark-skinned, and now you promote people release the stress on this doll. You don't want to make a lighter version of it because it's too human. Wait, are you saying that people who are dark-skinned are not human? That they don't matter? That's really what comes forth from this. And it amazes me that this is not a political scandal worldwide. It amazes me that China doesn't get any sanctions for this. I expected all these Chinese women who married dark-skinned men from Africa to come out about it. It amazes me a lot of African countries are silent on this. That product should have never even existed. They should have never even thought about a product like this, yo. But guess what? The fact they were so comfortable making this product, even selling it and promoting it, shows that deep on the low, people agree that if you're darker skinned, you have less value, and you deserve less consideration. And that product is an expression of it. Now, that's an extreme portion of it. It's an extreme way. It's an extreme example, I know. In the West, you have this thing called the Playboy Mansion. I believe it's still around. Okay? I mean, think about it. The Playboy Mansion, what happened over there? They were treating women as pure objects to exploit sexually. And I was thinking, didn't the Playboy Mansion grew and become popular during when feminism was at its peak? So how come the feminists didn't shut down the Playboy Mansion? And many of these horror movies that Europeans make, or people of European descent, they show European women, pale-skinned, light-skinned European women being chased by often perpetrators who are European too. Think about Jason, Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, and all those fictional characters. So think about it. Why, if there's a feminist movement, talk about the safety of women, the rights for women, are they making so many movies where women are brutalized and killed to watch it for entertainment? And in most of these movies, the women are killed by their own people who look just like them. And why was this whole thing like the Playboy Mansion that promotes women being exploited as purely sex objects? How do these things coexist like this? That shows you that somewhere this belief that females are only there for sexual exploitation, that belief exists and is shared by so many people in the public. And because there's an iniquity people align with, eventually they're going to express it one way or the other. Imagine, I'm from African descent. I'm from Afro-Moorish descent, me. My ancestors went through the transatlantic slave trade. Horrible. Also a lot of racial discrimination afterwards. Imagine there would be a movie out there and about dark-skinned African people being whipped regularly. And the whole movie is about how they're being graphically victimized. And I would be there enjoying watching the movie with friends. How would that make me look? People say, is something wrong with Ari does it? Something's just wrong with this dude. Why would you want to watch a movie that glorifies and celebrates people like you being victimized? If it's one or two scenes where it happens, okay, but the whole damn movie is only about that and you enjoy watching it, that means you hate yourself. So I used to think, why are there so many of these horror movies where European women are brutalized by European men? And these movies become bestsellers. That means something's seriously wrong over here. But it's not just Europeans, y'all. In every ethnicity and every nationality on the earth, you find a level of self-hatred being expressed in the culture. In Latin America, you have these drug cartels that have all these fights with their own people, glorifying gang violence, murder, blood, force, revenge. But when it's a football match, oh, they stand together. We're Ecuadorians, we're Peruvians, we're Mexicans, well, whatever. Where is this patriotism throughout the year? And why can these criminal cartels even survive? There's no way they survive without the people being tolerant and somewhere aligning themselves with the violence. I'm not picking on any group or any nation over here. I'm just pointing out this belief in good fear is It's self-hatred. It's self-loathing. And you find this everywhere in the world, y'all. Now, I'm an anthropologist, so I tend to examine and research cultural expressions. And I know some cultures have very odd expressions, odd dances, odd forms of art. That doesn't mean they hate themselves. One thing I noticed also, because I grew up in the Netherlands also, what I noticed in the Netherlands is that there's this kind of obsession going on with the Second World War. Now, the Second World War was a horrible period, of course, for them, but it was Europeans murdering and butchering other Europeans for the most part. So there's a dark part of the history, which is not even that long ago. Why are the video games made about it? Why they keep talking about it like it's a way to identify, to identify themselves with it? There's also self-hatred right over there. So I don't want to make this live stream way too long, but I just want you to realize this. When a population is self-hating and self-loathing, they then also believe that if you're part of the same group as theirs, that either they have a right to cause harm to you, or that it's okay if harm happens to you, as long as the group has their escape. I'm telling you, the number one threat you'll face in life will come from the people who are just like you. Because people who are not like you, they live far away, they're not around you, they don't have access towards you. If they are bad thinking, they're around their own people, so likely the people around them are going to experience the effects of their bad thinking. But people that are around you, similar to you, that have access towards you, if they're bad thinking, well, it's going to affect you the first, because you're amongst them. That's why Jesus said, someone's enemies to be from your own household. Listen, not everyone out there is a narcissist, okay? No. However, there are narcissistic attitudes and opinions that are so common in the world. And a lot of people are not mentally well to realize how disturbing their own thinking is. Does it make them evil? No. But it does make them unsafe to be around. So don't just call someone a narcissist just like that, just because they have disturbing views. Some people are not even aware how disturbing their views are, y'all. Because those disturbing views are normalized. It's iniquity. I'm not going to spend hours addressing iniquities in the world because I would be there for next week, non-stop recording. Just understand the foundation of all the iniquities and the idea that there's a thing called good fear. And church have to stop teaching this crap, y'all. There's no such thing as good fear at all. And if you think that fear is the only way to make people behave better, that means that you operate out of lack and you don't trust God, because God has resources and ways to get things done without having to resort to violence. But anyway, I just want to call this out, y'all. There's no such thing as good fear. And I'm telling you, it's time to self-reflect not only on yourself, but also on the people you belong to. Whether it's your ethnic group, your nationality, or the people in the same field as you. And I'm telling you, you are going to find some iniquity. You are going to find some views that are simply disturbing because they're against how God designed us and against our well-being. Don't hate before it. Don't go out exploding on them, be freaked out with them. No. Just know that some people are simply not aware how damaged they are on a psychological level. Because that's iniquity. Iniquity is when harm is normalized. And there's no thing as society without iniquity. Society is the quote unquote justification of iniquity. The society is. That's why we talk about community, not about society. I don't promote society, I promote healthy communities. Society is what the Bible calls the world. And the world is the quote unquote justification of iniquity, normalized harm. So what normalized harm are you still participating in? You can't change other people around you, but you can't decide, I want to be better. Make sure you become better, y'all. Let me see. Are there any questions about this topic? Let me know in the live chat, please. Let me know. Ah, there's lightning out there. Cool. Let me see. Maybe I can show you some of it. Yep. It's going to get more and more and more. Look at all these electric charges in the atmosphere, y'all. Look at that. Anyway, I got no questions. Thank you all for being here. Keep on keeping Christ, y'all. And I will see you in my next live stream. God is good.